Chess, nonsense, and analysis. Hi, dear viewer. So we are continuing on our series on how to improve in chess. Let's start with the game that was played by the first world champion, Steinitz. So Steinitz plays e4. He was playing here against von Badeleben, and it was in 1895. Immediately attacks the center. This used to be all the rage, of course, and plays d5. Yeah, at first, games of an earlier very strong player by the name of Greco. His opponents used to take on e4, and Greco would castle. And there were even earlier examples where the opponents would grab all the material and they would be expecting Greco to move the rook so that they could castle, but Greco would play, Queen b3 and start attacking. So this time, von Badeleben decided not to take the pawn and castles, bishop b6, but this is treatment. This treatment is too soft, and he finds himself stuck in the center. And Steinitz goes now and stops castling first and foremost. So he tries to play f6 so that he could hide. He wants to play king f7, rook e8, and run. Steinitz plays queen e2, and then rook c1. And here is the idea that we learn from the game. We want to introduce pieces into the attack. But the knight doesn't have any nice squares, and Steinitz plays here pawn to d5. A beautiful move. He's now opening the square d5 for the knight. C takes d5, knight went to d4, knight goes into e6, queen goes to g4, attacking the pawn, staying on the same line as the queen. Knight g5 check, the queen is hanging. Rook takes e7 check. This is a beautiful finish. King goes to f8. Of course, if queen takes e7, he would take check, and then he's a piece up. If king takes rook e1 check. If king back there, there's a knight e6. If king goes to d6, queen f, maybe queen b4. Queen b4 check. I'm in two minds. Also, maybe queen f4 first, but let's say queen b4 check. That should be enough somehow. Yeah. And the king is caught. So plays king f8. Now notice that Steinitz cannot take the queen because the rook. Let me show you guys. And so that we see it on the board. The rook would capture the other rook and the king is caught. Checkmate. So he plays rook f7 check. Now the queen still cannot take for the same reason, yeah? We would take here twice, plays check, check, and the opponent resigns. Yeah, the end would be something like this: check, 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 a check, a check, and right here, check, check and mate. So a beautiful game illustrating that d5 and letting the knight in. Now let's have a look at a game that a 12-year-old boy played when he was in Leningrad, in Russia. And now this boy later on became world champion. And we're talking about none other than Boris Spassky. So Boris Spassky played this game a few years later after the game. He played it in 1949 and he was 12. But let's have a look at the game, how Spassky plays it. So it's a queen's gambit and captures, plays queen e2. Queen e2 serves the purpose of moving the rook to d1, and he wants to play e4 to get his pieces into the game. Bishop goes to b3, rook d1 for development. It takes. Now the opponent gets ambitious and does not get out of the center, but plays knight b4. Wants to blockade the pawn. And now notice Spassky's next move, d5. It really is an idea that is borrowed from the Steinitz game. Once again, he's opening up first and foremost the file for the rook, the square for the knight, and blocking the black pieces in. So knight takes, and now bishop g5. The pins are going to now play a role. because these knights are pinned. This knight and that knight as well. The pawn on e6 is also pinned. Lots of pins going on. Bishop b7, it takes first on f6. Now you're not able to take back with the bishop because you would just lose a piece like this, of course, right? And it's a piece because you're pinned. So unfortunately, the opponent is not able to capture back with the piece takes back with the pawn, and Spassky knight takes, and now finally Steinitz like move, knight d4, beautiful. His knight is now going to go f5, very, very similar. And knight f5, rook takes d5, is ready to go for the final kill. King takes f8, queen takes f6, and black resigned. Beautiful game. And that's how you improve in chess. Learn from the classics and implement in your game. I hope you enjoyed that. Till next time, I will say checkmate.